This is a beautiful day. Welcome to the Sedona Forum. Every Sedona Forum is different, and I don't have the honor and pleasure of being able to say I've been here since the beginning, but I think others who are here can attest to the fact that every Sedona Forum has its own flavor, its own mood, and I think so far we've really gotten off to a magical start. We have such a personal McCain family flavor with, of course, the award yesterday to Ambassador Cindy McCain, given to her by her sons, very well deserved, and she's not done serving our country, and of course helping the Institute, the library, and ASU. Also, the Night Owl, all those great stories about Senator McCain and what he was like, not just as a statesman and a politician, but as a human. That was really special. And then, of course, the general, who I know is still with us and mixing and mingling, he shared his personal stories as well. So I feel like this year we're off to a start with a lot of really kind of personal flavor and feeling and emotion to lead and guide some of our discussions. This year, of course, we have a theme, as always, and it's called The Challenges of American Dominance. We're looking at how our allies have increased greater responsibility in the ongoing conflict. So it's not necessarily a negative thing, not necessarily all about the bad guys. It's also how are our allies addressing this. And we have a wonderful Japanese contingent here representing kind of our transatlantic partnership and our strong alliance. And that great relationship came out of the Sedona Forum Tokyo that we held in January, thanks to the leadership and the initiative and the hard work of Jack McCain. So we're excited about that, and we have a lot of conversations on the docket to explore the threats shaping our position in the world, but again, of course, what allies are doing, including the ongoing discussions about the fight that Russia launched, the war of aggression against Ukraine, the U.S. debt and the future of our power on the global landscape. And then, as always, we will work in a bipartisan, broad fashion to find common ground for common good here at home and across our alliance relationships. We are all so grateful to the sponsors of the 2026 Sedona Forum, and please hold your applause and your hoots and whistles until I have acknowledged all of them. Our lead sponsor is Carlisle Companies. Our principal sponsors are Arizona Public Service, Salt River Project, and the Special Competitive Studies Project. Our gold sponsors are Amazon, the Burton Family Foundation, Freeport-McMoRan, the Knight Foundation, the Nagra Kudelski Group, Macquarie, Francis and Dion Najafi, the Pivotal Foundation, Player 15 Group, and Qualcomm. I want to also thank the following supporters of this year's forum: FedEx, the Greater Phoenix Leadership, K&L Gates, Quarles, and Verizon. So now you can clap. Thank you to all of you for your continued trust and partnership. We are deeply grateful. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize our media partners. We're very excited because we have an official defense media partner this year, Defense News. We also have some new entrants to the media scene, some nimble, exciting new media sponsors, media partners rather, Notice, Punchbowl News, and then of course, the very distinguished Washington Post. As we begin our 13th annual Sedona programming this morning, I'd also like to take a moment to recognize another convening forum that was very important to Senator McCain. For more than 4 decades, so actually almost half a century, Senator McCain was a vital partner with the Munich Security Conference, and he led a delegation of which I and many other people in this room had the honor and pleasure of being part of, to attend this Munich Security Conference every year. And this is really one of the bedrock forums for strengthening and continuing our ongoing dialogue with our European allies and partners, although it's also become quite global in nature. And that relationship was so special and so significant that we have the opportunity to invite the Vice Chairman and CEO of the Munich Security Conference, Benedikt Franke, to share more about Senator McCain's role in elevating the conference and also in building transatlantic relationships. So without further ado, I would like to welcome to the podium my friend Benedikt Franke.
Good morning, everyone. Now you need to be strong. But as good and even great Americans, I know that you're used to having to go through an advertising block before you get to the blockbuster, or in the case of the Sedona Forum, the blockbusters. You know, initially I did not want to go up here and give a speech. I just wanted to come up here, thank the wonderful McCain family, thank you, dear Cindy, thank the McCain Institute, and thank those of you that have contributed to this volume that you'll find outside, like Skellen and Kurt. I wanted to go up here very briefly and explain that this newest volume in our series on key speeches was the highlight. It highlighted Senator McCain's defining moments in Munich. We count around 100, but in here we've only done 48. And the many, many instances in Munich and with Munich around the world that he challenged complacency, defended values, and articulated the responsibilities of transatlantic leadership. I was planning then to tell you that this great book is full of wonderful John McCain quotes, and that now is the time to quote him more often, once again. I was then going to tell you that it's for free. This is an advertising block, after all, and that you can get it outside and online. I would have then continued with the somewhat amusing anecdote that we had asked many staffers and colleagues of John to share some of their experiences with us. We've then gone through these little contributions and decided not to publish most of them, not because they were bad, but because they would have scared you off from ever coming to Munich. You know, it's actually quite nice in Munich. We do have water and food, but some of these staffers pretended that it was the hardest thing they ever did. It isn't. I would have ended by saying how proud we are of this long relationship between the Munich Security Conference and John McCain and his family. How we'll do everything to honor this relationship, and how this book and the John McCain Award that Jack and I gave out earlier this year are only some of the many ways in which we are doing this. You would have clapped, hopefully enthusiastically and friendly, and we could have moved on to the blockbuster. But, you know, you knew from the very beginning that there was going to be a but. But with everything that is going on in the transatlantic relationship right now, I figured that you would allow me a minute to just mention 3 brief additional points. First, we Europeans, we Germans, we love John McCain, not as some believe, because he was nice to us. Yes, sometimes he was nice to us. He was quite nice to me personally all the time. No, we loved him because when he wasn't nice, and when he challenged us, and you just need to read his speech 2004 about how disappointed he was in us Europeans not to support you Americans in Iraq. Just read it. It wasn't nice. But when he was like that, when he was brutally honest, it was on the basis of what he perceived as common challenges, on common values, on shared principles and priorities, and not just on raw interest and pure power. You know, it probably won't come as a surprise these days that we'd quite like to get that back. Second, we Europeans love John because he was a constant through very different US administrations, saying very different things in Munich. Today, when US policy appears somewhat more unpredictable, you can tell that I'm a trained diplomat, we'd have loved him back to remind us of the constant of that relationship. And lastly, and most importantly, we love John because of what he stood for. He stood for so much more than just America first, or this first, or that first. He loved his country, your country, deeply. And that is okay. Patriotism is great, but it should not end at one's borders. And for John, it never did. It included us. It was all about a joint purpose in this world, with your allies, friends, and partners. And you may not be surprised to hear that we would like to have that back too. Not that we can go back to sleep in Europe. Not that we can have you do all the hard work again in Europe and beyond, but that we can tackle the joint challenges from Russia and China together rather than everyone on his or her own. And this is why we love John. This is why we miss him in Munich. And this is why we published this book today and here. And with that, thank you very much, and over to the next blockbuster, the first blockbuster, The Govern. Thank you so much.